Welcome to FTMO Performance Talks, the podcast about trading performance for serious traders.
So you mean that traders tend to ignore their initial failure?
Yeah, exactly. The initial failure and failure in general. As trading is not exclusively about winning. Trading is not what you see in those advertisements. And some people are not ready for it. Most of them don't even want to be ready for it, actually. In 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Performance Talks. I am Nelly.
And my name is Michael, and we are FTMO performance coaches.
And today's episode is all about expectations you most likely face in trading. We'll give you our psychological insights, share some experience from our sessions with FTMO traders, and as always, we will give you a few tips on how to improve your mindset. So, hi Michael, how are you today?
Hi Nelly, I'm fine. Summer finally came into the city. What about you?
I'm doing very well, and I'm happy to see you again. So, Michael, tell me, when you hear the word expectation, what is the first thing that pops up in your mind?
I think that expectations is a huge thing in trading. I mean, of course, it's a huge thing in general, but especially in trading. Maybe we can say that trading is about expectations from the very beginning. And most of the time, new traders have expectations far beyond reality. I know that there are many ways one can get into trading. However, I think that we can say that one of the most common things is the advertisement. Advertisement where you can see a trader sitting comfortable on the beach with a drink during sunset. He is reviewing all his trading history. Then on the platform, you see those big profits. Or another trader is sitting on the couch watching TV and placing trades from his living room during his favorite night show. Then he closes the trade in profit, smiles, and puts away the phone. So easy and convenient, right?
Indeed, expectations form a huge part of any activity we do in order to succeed. And who would be interested in trading without the expectation of success, right?
Yep.
That is what does motivate traders. That idea of hitting their targets, gaining their profits, and achieving the goals they've set for themselves. And in my opinion, expectations are not necessarily a bad thing. However, as you mentioned, those advertisements can create unrealistic expectations, as they usually present trading as a get rich quick scheme, and that can be dangerous.
Yes. And you know what? I think that this is actually the root of unrealistic expectations. Because what else you can think about trading if this is the first thing you see?
100% agree. It is the root of unrealistic expectations, as those advertisements are planting this first seed in your head. And since this is the first belief you created regarding trading, it is tough to get rid of it. Because, as you know, when you create some initial belief about something, it tends to be the strongest belief you hold. And you are looking for any information proving that the belief is correct. And you are unconsciously filtering everything which shows you the opposite.
So you mean that traders tend to ignore their initial failure?
Yeah, exactly. The initial failure and failure in general. As trading is not exclusively about winning. Trading is not what you see in those advertisements. And some people are not ready for it. Most of them don't even want to be ready for it, actually. They are not prepared to face that raw reality, right?
Mm.
They are expecting to get rich quickly and easily. However, from your experience, what usually happens during those early stages of trading career?
Well, many times the reality is very different from the expectations. I can remember myself stepping into this industry with an absolutely nonsense idea of what this is all about. And I think that this is a tricky spot to be in. Just the simple fact of expecting something and not getting it is very frustrating. So there is no wonder that traders can experience negative emotions such as anger, sadness, or fear of not succeeding. And all of this together can create the feeling of disappointment. And at this moment, many traders cannot withstand it and they quit, which is okay. It's not for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely, it is not. And those who will be able to go through this initial phase will more than likely still face something similar. Because as a trader, you do constantly have some expectations. And it can be regarding the particular trade, your weekly performance, your monthly performance, or just your trading performance in general. Especially those expectations while opening trades. That is something that traders experience all the time. I guess you exactly know what I mean by that, right? So, what do traders most likely expect when they are opening their trades?
There are many things that traders expect when they open the trade. And most of the time, they expect that particular trade will be a winner. And to which consequences can it lead? I mean, what you can do if you think that the trade you are putting on will be a profitable one. Because if you are thinking about winners, it changes your risk attitude. When I coach our FTMO traders, we are often dealing with issues such as over-leveraging. And I'm always asking, what do you expect when putting a trade on? And I can say that almost every time the answer is, I expect the trade to be a winner. But we need to realize that there are two levels of expectations, especially in trading, subjective level and objective level. The subjective level is what I am expecting, and the objective is what I can expect when I'm putting on a trade. There are two things price can potentially do. Well, actually three. It can go to your take profit, stop loss, or stay at its place. And how realistic is to expect just one possible outcome? If you are expecting one specific outcome and you don't get it, then you can feel many emotions. For example, sadness, anger, frustration, disappointment, or feeling betrayed by the market. And when you are experiencing such emotions, your decision making might be affected. Trading under emotions is a big category of issues: overtrading, over-risking, revenge trading, and so on. And I'm not saying that this is the only reason this is happening, but it is fascinating that many times when we go deeper in the process with our traders, we can find out that at the beginning of those mistakes, there is an expectation. For example, that I think that this trade will be a winner. And this is just one specific expectation we are talking about right now, considering that the trade is going to be a winner.
Undoubtedly. And it does work also vice versa, right? You may experience a long losing streak, and even though you've been waiting for such a great entry setup for ages, you will still unconsciously expect that it will turn out as a loser again. And that expectation will most likely make you close that position as soon as you see that first move against the predicted direction. You'll close the position earlier just out of that fear, or you'll be able to execute that trade fully but underleveraged. I've been working with many traders who experienced the losing streak, which affected their trading and expectations massively.
Yeah, I just totally agree with you, Nelly. And another expectation that many traders face is that once you become an FTMO trader, it means that to make profits, you need to be trading every day. So then imagine yourself sitting in front of the computer with this expectation about yourself. You are staring at the chart and waiting for the setup, which is not coming. And one of your beliefs about what should you do is to take trades. Well, maybe then you can find yourself forcing the trades. And one of the worst feelings you can have when having a losing trade is if you have taken it unnecessarily. And I believe that many traders who are just listening to us now have the same experience. This might be just another example of what having a certain expectation can lead into. A little while ago, we were also talking about having an expectation that success will be fast. And this one is actually tricky because if you expect that you will complete your dreams fast, it can take your patience away. And patience, as we know, is one of the key factors in trading, right?
Yeah.
Because what do you do most of the time in trading? You are waiting for the proper setup or waiting for the outcome. Placing trades takes a fraction of the time in trading. So if I think that I will be profitable overnight, this feeling can creep into my mind, and then again, I can find myself not waiting for the confirmation and pushing trades. And what is interesting is now we can see that the same issue of forcing trades is caused by different expectations. I mean, of course, they are linked to a certain extent, but I want to point out that the same issue can have different causes. So that's why coaching is always individual, and there can be many solutions for the same thing. However, I'm going a little off topic right now. Nelly, is there any expectation you encounter with our traders during coaching sessions?
Mm, well, recently, I just had a session with my client and we discussed something very interesting. He tends to expect that everything will go just smoothly according to his expectations.
Wow.
And when this is not the case, he would be super frustrated. He shared that he would struggle with this not only while trading, but also in other aspects of his life, especially when he couldn't influence that anyhow. For example, he was working and his colleague was supposed to come at certain time. However, he came later on. Because of that, as he described, he has missed some important trade that he was expecting, and as it was totally out of his hands, he started to feel very frustrated. And then this feeling of frustration triggered those issues with discipline.
I think that's a nice example of what expectations can actually do. Okay, so what do we need to do if we want to work with the expectations? In the beginning, as always, it comes to awareness. I need to be aware of those things, because if I'm not aware of something, it is impossible to change it. So that is the first step that we need to do. We can do a mapping of the expectations. It is essential to find out which expectations I have when I put on a trade. Also, the expectations of what I expect from trading in general, or what I think that others expect from me. You can see that social aspect also plays a big role in trading. Those are the questions traders should ask themselves. What do I expect from trade? Or what do I expect from trading? Then we can start to change the perspective by asking, okay, those are the things I expect, but what are the things I can realistically expect?
Well, expectations are inevitable, but
Mm.
I like to highlight that they can also be tremendously beneficial to your trading performance when correctly set. To get back to my story with that client, we set a plan based on expectations. As he expected that everything is going according to his plan A, he wasn't prepared for any other scenario. Thus, we decided that he'll arrange a plan B as well. So, for example, imagine this scenario. While opening the trade, you would expect that trade to end up only in a profit,
Yeah,
right?
as always.
Yeah. And then having a plan B would be that trade ending up as a loss. And of course, you can plan it as well. So think ahead about, I don't know, for example, how much are you willing to lose? It is all about knowing your edge. In my opinion, it is always good to know what you can expect while trading, as that might protect you, at least partially, from that uncertainty that trading brings. That definitely leads me to correct risk management. But let's speak up on it another time. Today, I'd like to mention how important it is to set the right goals for yourself, so your expectations are not too high and you are not putting so much pressure on yourself.
Yes, I like dividing trades into plan A and plan B scenarios, because then you are opening your perception to other possible outcomes. Of course, ideally, I would like to hit plan A, but on the other hand, I'm also aware that it may not happen. So if the latter is the case, I'm not that disappointed because it's something I have covered in my expectations initially, which is quite a nice brain hack.
Yeah, indeed. That's exactly what I meant. You won't get rid of expectations, but you can use them the right way and recreate them, so you'll even benefit from them. Expectations do not have to be your enemy. Expectations do not have to be that source of frustration.
Mm.
You don't have to put so much pressure on yourself, and at the end of the day, why to be so harsh to yourself and be disappointed by something that is totally out of your hands, right? Having
Mm.
all possibilities covered with plan A, plan B, maybe even plan C, actually protects you from experiencing that uncertainty.
And if the plan C is not hit, there is always plan D, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is all about the preparation. If you visualize all these scenarios ahead, you won't experience such intense feelings while trading, and it presents a super easy tool for improving yourself as a trader.
I think that this is a good step traders can do by themselves. Now we are slowly nearing to the end of today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed this topic the same as we did. And I'm already looking forward to the next episode of Performance Talks.
Yeah, me as well. So stay tuned, and in the meantime, trade safe, guys.
This was FTMO Performance Talks. And for more, follow us on Spotify, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, and our YouTube channel.